My name is Giorgio Cafiero, and I am the CEO and founder of Gulf State Analytics. Today, I will be discussing the crisis in Yemen, specifically looking at Oman's diplomatic role in this conflict. Oman, as one of the founding members of the GCC, maintains brotherly relations with Saudi Arabia. Having said that, Oman places a lot of value on its independence on the international stage, and Oman often diverges from the so-called Riyadh consensus, meaning that Oman is never shy to pursue its own interests and to pursue its own foreign policy that doesn't always align with Saudi Arabia's foreign policy. The conflict in Yemen is definitely a case in point. Back in 2015, when Saudi Arabia put together a coalition of many Arab countries that were committed to defeating the Houthi rebellion, Oman was the only GCC state that did not join that coalition. Ever since 2015, the Omanis have maintained a balanced foreign policy vis-a-vis Yemen, never directly or indirectly engaging in any hostilities against the Houthis or any actor inside Yemen. Oman has tried to promote constructive dialogue between the different sides in the Yemeni crisis based on the conviction that only a diplomatic settlement can resolve this crisis. And the Omani view is that there never has been, there is not, and there never will be a military solution to the war in Yemen. Oman believes that the Houthis are a group in Yemen with legitimate grievances, and that different actors in Yemen, as well as different GCC states, need to see these grievances as legitimate and try to make compromises with the Houthis in the interest of promoting stability and eventually peace in Yemen. As a consequence of Oman's very diplomatic, balanced, mature, and neutral reaction to the crisis in Yemen, the Omanis have been able to gain a significant amount of soft power among various groups in Yemen, including the Houthis. Oman is the GCC state that the Houthis actually trust, and we see the Omanis always trying to play a bridging role between the Houthis as well as their domestic, regional, and international adversaries. Only 2 months after the Saudi-led coalition began operations against the Houthis, Omani officials hosted talks in Muscat that included representatives of the Houthi rebellion as well as officials from the United States, underscoring Oman's commitment to promoting a greater dialogue between the warring factions in Yemen, as well as the external actors involved in this conflict. Oman has always tried to make itself a neutral platform for constructive dialogue in the interest of helping the different actors involved in this crisis find some common ground. Oman has also tried to play a stabilizing role in Yemen through its humanitarian assistance, and the Omanis have also let injured Yemenis from all different groups in the country, including from the Houthi rebellion, receive treatment in Omani hospitals. And as a consequence, Oman has been able to build up its profile as a diplomatic bridge in the Yemeni conflict, and one that is truly committed to helping the different sides resolve this conflict. While Oman has maintained a neutral position in Yemen, there has been a perception in some of the other GCC states that Oman's foreign policy in Yemen is really a form of negative neutrality. The Saudi leadership and Emirati leadership at times have been irritated with the Omanis for not supporting the coalition in Yemen, and in Saudi Arabia and the UAE, there has even been a narrative about Oman taking the side of the Houthi rebels, and by extension, the Islamic Republic of Iran. However, this constitutes a real misunderstanding, or perhaps an outright misrepresentation of Oman's position vis-a-vis Yemen. The Omanis have never given military support to the Houthis. While the Omanis have engaged in dialogue with the Houthis, they've also engaged in dialogue with all of the other actors in Yemen. Thus, it's inaccurate to claim that Oman has taken a pro-Houthi position like the position that Iran has taken in the conflict. However, today, with new leadership in Washington, which is putting more pressure on the Saudis to end their hostilities in Yemen, and with the leadership in Riyadh wanting to see the war in Yemen come to an end, albeit in a way that enables the Saudis to be dignified, there is good reason to think that Saudi Arabia will begin to view Oman's foreign policy in Yemen as increasingly useful rather than problematic. The Saudis have, throughout 2021, the Saudis have been visiting Oman for talks on regional issues, chiefly Yemen, and given Oman's potential to continue fostering constructive dialogue between the Houthis and their adversaries, there is likely a perception in Saudi Arabia that the road to peace in Yemen goes through Muscat. Thank you very much for joining us today. Please stay tuned for the next video and be sure to follow Gulf State Analytics on social media. Once again, thank you very much and goodbye for now.